Hi Gemini, welcome to Carol's Universe. Let me just put the camera down a little bit. Oh, there we go. Yeah, hi Gemini, welcome to Carol's Universe, tarot readings from the heart. So this is your general 21 card Gypsy tarot spread for September. It's just a general look at your lives. This wasn't really intended to be any time specific reading, to be honest with you. I tried out the spread about a couple of weeks ago, really loved it and thought, wouldn't this be really cool to try out on the channel? So I decided to do 12 readings, the 12 signs of the zodiac, just to see what's going on for some of you guys at the moment. What's going to be happening is these are now going to be put on the channel as permanent readings alongside your general reading. So I've already done Scorpio, Aquarius and Libra. They've each got a general plus a love reading. The love reading will come in the format of the Gypsy tarot spread, and this will be where you'll just see the cards on the Gypsy tarot spread. On the generals you'll see me, because a lot of people are saying, you know what, we would really like to see the cards and I like to be on camera. So I figured a really good way to do it, because I like to connect. It's as simple as that. A good way to do it would be to do me on the generals and then just seeing the cards on your love readings for the month. So we're going to see how this goes over the next 3 months. If you like the love readings on a monthly basis, then we'll keep them. If you don't, then we'll just take them off, okay? Which should leave you with little old me. So yeah, let's get a start. Just to quickly show you how this works, Gemini. This is an amazing spread. Sorry if I'm moving the camera all over the bloody place. I'm in a really kind of tight spot trying to record. It's 21 cards, so 3 rows of 7 columns of 3. We always read column down, so we read from right to left. We've got your mental stroke emotional state here, first column. This explains how you're thinking, how you're feeling around a particular situation. Usually the situation is your personal situation, so your personal situation is column 2. I always start with the personal situation when I read anyway. Just give me a real sort of anchor foundation to the reading. We then go on to your hopes and desires. So it could be, yes, something's going on here. You're feeling and thinking a certain way about it, and you've got a hope around it and a desire of how you'd like it to go with this section here. However, you have an expectation. Now, expectations are different from hopes and desires, because an expectation is based on prior knowledge, prior form, prior patterns of behaviour. So, for example, as I always say, might go out tonight, buy a lottery ticket. I'm hoping to win the lottery here, but what I'm expecting is that I'm not going to win it, because I've never won a large amount of money on the lottery before. In your 5th column is the hidden aspects, so the hidden factors, things that you're not seeing at the moment that will be coming in, probably something that comes in that's a real surprise to you. Now this can either, if you've got a negative expectation and this is positive, it will negate that expectation. Obviously your hopes will always be positive, so you've got a positive hope. It might be in the hidden factors something not so positive is happening. So either way it negates or it confirms what you're hoping or what you're expecting. In the 6th column, what we have is your immediate future, and these are things that should develop within the next few days, months, weeks. When I did my own reading, what happened actually happened within a day. It was amazing, within 24 hours, but it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes it's within the next few days, weeks, months. It just depends. And then the overall outcome shows the overall outcome, where everything is heading as a result of what happens in the immediate future. Okay, so it's a very interesting reading. As I say, it's general. For some of you, it will, it's going to mean something to you. For some of you, it's not. It's just a general reading, okay? When you get the other ones up, when I do the other ones, the love readings that are coming up, you're going to have another one before the beginning of October, because you've got it coming up with your general reading, and that should focus on completely what happens in the October month. Okay, so let's have a look first what's going on in your home life. 8 of Wands, the Star, and the 3 of Wands. That's a really lovely mixture, actually, Gemini, for your personal situation. To me, that speaks a lot of confidence. It speaks somebody who's being very positive about their lives. We've got the 8 of Wands, and the 8 of Wands is usually about things that are moving forward. So there might be things that are moving forward for you at the moment, Gemini, in terms of your life. It's also the card that talks about putting things into order. So you see the 8 Wands that are flowing through the air. This is often to do with communication, that we make communication that's received. But I often see the Wands as being like a javelin. You know, like a javelin thrower will throw a javelin through the air. They remind me of several javelins. And the javelin player often throws a javelin because it wants to hit a particular mark. So I feel that there might be a lot of a lot of ideas that are going on with you guys at the moment. That you're hoping that maybe, but it's not a hope, it's what you're doing. I feel that you are throwing a lot of things up in the air at the moment. A lot of ideas are going on with you, because ones often represent ideas as well. So this can be a lot of creative ideas that are going on with you guys presently. Could be that you're really hopeful that all of your hard work and effort, because eights also represent focus and effort, determination. So I feel that you're very determined here with these 8 wands in your present situation, perhaps to make a dream come true with the star. So it could be that, and also the star, we just look at this, the central card here. The star is a card that deals with hope, inspiration, wishes, and also manifesting our highest desires. If you look at this card here, it's basically looking straight up at those 8 wands. So it's almost like you are in the process of manifesting things. It's almost like I'm looking at this card and somebody their head and their eyes are pointing upwards. Can you see those cups pointing downwards to the 3 of Wands? So it's almost like, I can't explain it. It's like 2 actions that you're doing here. You're very hopeful, but you're also trying to manifest something here. So the manifestation, I feel, is those 8 wands. So it's the energies that you're actually putting into the universe. This is coming right from the bottom, right up to the top. So it's almost like an energy that's coming from you. And I can see all of this energy here with the 8 wands. Can you see how this lady's face, this angel's face, points directly up? It's almost what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're manifesting in your everyday life. You're putting out to the universe with those 8 wands. And can you see those cups there? And how the glitter pours down to earth. It's almost like, it's like the magician, as above, so below. So as you think, so you receive, if that makes any sense. So I get the idea that a lot of you guys in your present life is that you're doing a lot of manifestation. And in your everyday life, what you're waiting for is the manifestation, those things to come through. We've got 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands often means waiting for your ships to come in. So whatever it is that you've been manifesting or you've been putting into action here, putting into motion, because the 8 of Wands means putting things into motion, maybe as a result of your hopes and dreams and aspirations, you're waiting for your ships to come in on that with the 3 of Wands. It's very positive looking personal situation right now. I'm just seeing a lot of confidence, a lot of positive expectation on your part happening. I can see that you're putting a lot of effort into something here, and it's coming from a very strong belief, because the star also means to believe. Even if things aren't going 100% in your favour, it means I have a belief, an absolute universal and internal belief that things will be all right and that I'm on the right track. So this angel, the fact that it looks up to the 8 wands, it's almost like you're setting intentions. Get the impression that some of you guys are actually setting intentions and you're waiting right now for those intentions to manifest with the 3 of Wands energy. How do you feel and think around the situation? Well, we've got Judgment. We've got Death. And we've got the Ace of Pentacles. So I feel that, the Judgment card is a really good card to get, because I can see how these cards work. They're all very kind of spiritual cards. 8 of Wands, the Star, Judgment. They're all really, really spiritual. They're about putting your beliefs and your knowledge and your faith into a higher being, into a higher life force that can potentially bring things to you. They're all about manifestation, every single one about them. So I can see that I feel that there's something really spiritual going on with some of you Geminis presently. I feel that right now in your present situation, your personal lives, you're doing a lot of manifestation with the Star card. You're putting a lot of energy out there with the 8 of Wands. So there's a lot of putting things into priority. There's a lot of putting effort into things. There's a lot of moving forward. There's a sense of, setting intentions, I feel, and waiting in your everyday life for these intentions that you've set out into the universe, for these desires, these ideas that you are working on, that you are setting in motion, for things to come back to you, to manifest these highest ideals that you have with the Star and the intentions that you've set with the 8 of Wands. I feel that mentally, the Judgment card says that you have been released. There has almost been, I don't know whether it's a spiritual awakening. Sometimes this card can mean to be spiritually awoken by spirit, by source, by the universe, by God, by angels. This is an angel here, and it has a horn, so sometimes it's an angel that speaks to us. I know someone who, you know, often tells me now that she hears angels speaking to her when she gets up in the daytime. They warn her of stuff. Really, really interesting. So I feel there is a real spiritual awakening, and therefore the death card for me almost says that you are able to put closure. Mentally, you're closing down on certain things. I don't feel that this is a depressive card. Some people would read that death card in terms of mental and emotional as depression. But I don't, because I feel that because of this awakening here, mentally and emotionally, that you have around this, because we can see these are all positive cards, so it would be very weird mentally and emotionally if you were looking at things negatively. This is not negative here for you guys. This is more a very positive thing. We can see that you're setting intentions. The Star and Eight of Wands, I would call that as a combination, setting intentions. And with the Three of Wands, waiting for those intentions to manifest. So waiting for things that you have. You know, setting intentions, the law of attraction, it's not all about, you know, speaking to the universe and saying, universe, I want this, universe, I want that. It's also about going out there and making things happen. So I feel that you're making things happen alongside being very spiritually aware and setting intentions within your own life now in order to create changes. And I feel that you're waiting for those changes to manifest with that Three of Wands, your ships to come in. Mentally and emotionally, there has been an awakening for you with the Judgment card. There's been a realisation, a wake-up call, I would say, a sense of release from the past. And we can see that there is release from the past because mentally you're closing down on a certain area. You're ready to enter into a new cycle in terms of your life. You're putting the past to the past. So Judgment is the wake-up call that maybe mentally you need to put the past in the past and seek new avenues and new matters, and a fresh start as well with the Ace of Pentacles. Remember, pentacles don't just represent money, they represent matter. They're the things that we hold, the things that we experience. So the aces are all about new beginnings, and these can be new experiences. So mentally, I feel that you're ready for a new experience with the pentacles, because the pentacles are the everyday things that we experience. The fact that I am sat talking to a camera, this is a pentacle. My table is a pentacle. These tarot cards are a pentacle. They are the result of something that has been made or something that has evolved from an idea with those wands. Okay, so, you know, the wands are the ideas that we have that we want to move forward with. They're the passion, the things that make us feel quite excited and motivated, that make us want to work towards building something or growing something. The cups are how we feel about it, what drives us even further. In a way, they're not just feelings, but they're also the foresight that we have of how things can change if we are willing to take the risk and move forward with our ideas and our passions and our inspirations with the wands. The swords are using things logically. So how do we logically cut through? How do we logically make something happen? And how do we take the first steps of action towards that? And then the pentacles see the results of all these efforts, see that things are starting to take shape and take form. And that they do take shape and take form. So I do feel that, you know, here you are inspired. You have set intentions here. You're setting the wheels in motion with those Eight of Wands. You're prioritising, putting things into order for yourselves. You are definitely, for me, setting intentions, and you're waiting in your everyday life for those intentions to manifest. So it doesn't mean that you ask the universe for stuff and then you just sit down and watch daytime TV. That's not what I'm saying. Setting intentions is not only saying to the universe, I want this, this and this, I'm going to do this, universe, I want to manifest this, but it's actually taking the bull by the horns and making things happen. So I feel that you're making things happen in your everyday life, Gemini, because mentally and emotionally you've had a wake-up call, and that involves a release from something of the past, and the past really is death. So this Judgment has allowed you to put something to bed, to close something off that has run its course within your life. And in turn, with the Ace of Pentacles, you're now looking at new matters at hand. There is a sense of, you know, a new direction that you're taking with that card. Okay? A new experience that you're wanting to go on. Mentally and emotionally, you're open to new experiences, I feel. What are your hopes and desires around this present situation? Well, the Hanged Man shows up first. So, you know, your hopes and desires will be for release, because the Hanged Man is to do with letting go. giving up and not giving up in a bad way. I mean, giving any type of tension, problems up. You know, you can see on this card that the guy doesn't struggle. He just sort of accepts his situation. So your hopes will be to not only release and let go of any negative energies that you might have been experiencing, or giving up on your hopes will not only be that, but it will also be to give up on the fight or any kind of sense of resistance that you've been feeling. Because the Hanged Man can mean resistance as well. Okay? Letting go of resistance. This guy here lets go of resistance because he doesn't struggle. He just accepts that the things are the way they are. So I feel that your hopes will be to let go of resistance. Perhaps to get in touch with yourself far more emotionally with that Queen of Cups energy. Okay, the Queen of Cups is a highly, but you can see on the Rider-Waite, she covers her emotions. On this card, she's open. Okay, so I feel that the Hanged Man is letting go of resistance, letting go of any problems is in your hopes, so that you can become far more emotionally open, maybe to new things, new ways of being, looking at things differently. The Hanged Man is also to do with looking at things in a different perspective. I feel that it works really well with the Queen of Cups because she's a very open type of character. Okay, she's the type of woman who is obviously a counsellor, tarot reader, psychologist, that type of thing, teacher. And I feel within a lot of those professions, you've got to be mentally open and emotionally open because there's all sorts of different people that you look at on a daily basis. Certainly within my line of work, I deal with many different people that come to me for readings on an everyday basis. So I have to be open to different points of view, different types of questions, different ways of life, that type of thing. So I feel that your hope is to be more open emotionally and mentally in order to perhaps see things in a different way, different perspective, have more spiritual enlightenment, but also this opening up here, I feel, with the Queen of Cups helps you to release resistance with the Hanged Man. And therefore, with the Three of Pentacles, I feel this helps you focus. You're hoping to focus perhaps more on the things that make you happy. You can see on this Three of Pentacles that this lady is doing a creative pursuit and she loves it. So she's getting things accomplished. So I feel that you're hoping that your openness now, which I can see would relate to judgment in your mental, judgment and death, and the Ace of Pentacles in your mental emotional state. And also it relies here, I can see just openness all along the way, Gemini. I feel that by being open here in your everyday life and mentally and emotionally, you're hoping that this openness with the Queen of Cups will help you to release any type of resistance you've had, because we can see that you have released resistance through the Judgment card, and helps you therefore to start accomplishing things within your life potentially. For some of you guys, it might be that your hopes are that, you know, you'll overcome any issues in order maybe to focus on something that you love doing. Could be a creative pursuit as well. So I feel that, you know, with the first three cards, Gemini, what I'm looking at is a real change in somebody's life. And this is one of the most positive of the Gypsy tarot cards that I've seen come in. I think it's very good so far. It just shows somebody who has worked hard to change their perceptions, to change their way of life around. And they're not willing to stay within victim mode, but somebody who really wants to just trust in the universe. And they've changed. I think just feel a change of perspective, especially on a spiritual plane for many of you guys. What are your expectations? So those are your hopes. Your expectations are Two of Swords, Strength, and the Five of Swords. So it could be that your expectations are because the Two of Swords as an expectation can sometimes mean that there might be obstacles. But it could be that it's a really funny reading, in a way, because we can see beauty here within the first three cards. The fact that, you know, you guys here in your everyday life, you're very inspirational, you're very inspired to set things in motion and to have those things come back to you with the Three of Wands. So you're very... I feel you're very certain, and it's almost like you have real trust and real faith that by setting intentions with that star and the Eight of Wands, and also having complete faith in the things that you're wanting to do now and that you're wanting to set in motion will bring good results with that Three of Wands in your everyday life. And I feel, mentally you have gone through a period of release. There is now mental clarity that has come to you, where you have evolved on a very spiritual level, and this has enabled you mentally to put the past to the past with the Death card, and to focus on new matters, focus on new experiences, mentally and emotionally, which is great. So it shows a giving up of the old and definitely a change into the new for some of you Gemini individuals. You are hoping that through being open to change, which the Queen of Cups obviously is, many a time, and she is a very open individual, especially on this card here, that this will help you to release resistance. And the resistance would probably be, if anything, within the Death card, because this is the card that releases, this is the card that ends things, but also the card that shows that we're finding it difficult, especially when it's in the reverse, to let go. So it could be that your hope is that being so open to change will help you to release resistance and help you to make great accomplishments with the Three of Pentacles. But what you seem to be expecting with the Two of Swords is that, I get the impression with those two swords, because we can see that the intuition and the emotion, this woman blocks out anything emotional and anything spiritual or too intuitive. What she does with the swords is she looks at things logically. So I get the sense that what you're actually expecting, though this is something that you've been working towards in the first three columns, and it's commendable that you've been doing that for some of you Geminis, I also get the feeling that what you're actually expecting is you're going to have to be a little bit more down to earth about how things take shape, or how long things might take to kind of evolve for you. Because the Two of Swords is about putting logic in front of intuition, if that makes sense to you. So we no longer, with the Two of Swords, pay attention to what our feelings are saying or what our intuition, our strong intuition is saying about a situation. It's about saying, for example, if you wanted to travel around Europe painting, but you've got bills to pay, your intuition and your feeling might be saying, you know what, I love painting, I love, I'm a great artist, I could give the world so much pleasure, I could go and sit wherever in France or in Italy or, wherever it is I want to sit, and I could go and paint a building, and, I could get involved with the romance of those cities. But then I have a house to run, and I've got children, and I've got a husband. Do you see where I'm coming from? So the swords are more the logic that we pay attention to rather than what our intuition tells us. So I feel that it's almost like it's saying, what you're expecting though, even though all of this is lovely, and this is all that you've been focusing on, and it's really good because it shows somebody who is releasing resistance and they're moving forward with the universe, heavily trusting in the universe and their ability to manifest what they want by closing out the past and by paying attention to spirit, judgment. Mentally, you're mentally clear, mentally clarified, and it usually comes through an epiphany, probably from spirit, from God, from the angels. And you are looking, mentally you're ready for new experiences, definitely. I feel that what you're expecting is that that you're going to have to pay attention more to how realistic this can be moving forward right now. Because strength says as an expectation, you're expecting that you're going to need to be quite strong around a situation. You're probably going to need to exercise some patience as well, because strength means patience. This line can often represent someone else, but often this line represents the ego, and it represents us. And it represents us keeping our egos on a leash, or keeping the side of ourselves that wants to go out of control. The chaotic, the lion really for me is the chaotic part of ourselves, and how we keep the chaos under control. Okay, so it's almost like you are expecting that you're going to need to rely more on your logic and your rationale, and you're going to need to kind of hold back. Maybe you're expecting that you need to be strong, or you need to hold back, or you need to be patient, or you need to be in control, because with the Five of Swords, what you're expecting is maybe that the challenges aren't over in whatever capacity that takes. Five of Swords usually shows conflict between a group of people, but it could also mean victory, because we only have one person that stands here. We don't have two others. We don't know what this guy's overcome, but he's standing with all the swords. So I read this. This is the Thelema Tarot. If I didn't tell you guys, did I show you at the beginning? Jeez, I hope I did. Well, I'm showing you again anyway. The Thelema Tarot only shows one person standing. So it could be that you expect that if you are logical and if you use your ideas, I mean your realistic ideas with the, because remember swords represent ideas as well. If you use your ideas instead of going with your hopes and your passions and your dreams, that maybe with the Strength card then, the expectation is you'll overcome some form of an obstacle quicker, and therefore with the Five of Swords, potentially overcome challenges ahead or some form of challenge that's happening here. Because we've got two sword cards in your expectations, and sword cards mean about being honest and being truthful. Sometimes with cup cards and stuff like that, and even the wands, they can represent more of the passion and the emotion we feel around a situation. So sometimes this is something that can be 100% realistic, that can go like that, and sometimes we need to dig a bit deeper to see whether what it is that we have put our hopes and dreams on is completely realistic at this time and at this place, or whether it's kind of a little bit of hot air mixed with, you know, a real desire for something to happen, if that makes any sense to you. You're on the right track here, which is great. So mentally and in your world, you're actually trying to make things happen, Gemini. And it's not just, you're not making things happen through a avenue of depression, or it's not elation with you guys. It is literally you turned a corner mentally and emotionally, and you're acting on those things. And you're hoping that those things are going to pay off, and it's going to help you to release whatever resistance you've had. But I feel possibly in a expectational way, what you're actually expecting is that maybe there might be some obstacles, or maybe you're going to need to look at things in a more rational way, because that's the way that you're really going to have to, you know, you're going to really be able to go overcome the obstacle that you might be feeling that you're facing, and achieve some form of victory maybe. What other hidden factors coming in? Well, it could be, the Knight of Pentacles is usually an offer card, but it can also be where you receive news. But the Knight of Pentacles could be, hidden factors is that someone may offer you something here. Eight of Swords can mean that there might be unexpected obstacles that you still need to face. And the Moon is where there is confusion, a lack of clarity, or some form of a secret. Even if this responds to you guys and you're moving on from a relationship or something like that, but you're still expecting there to be some obstacles that you're going to need to face, it could be that somebody's feeling rather depressed. Eight of Swords. And it might be because there's a lack of clarity for that particular person around the situation. So for you, you're going great guns, but it might be somebody who's not so much going great guns. If this represents a person, the Knight of Pentacles, how they're feeling, the Eight of Swords, and what they're experiencing right now, the Moon, which can be lack of clarity, fogginess. Could be somebody around you that you're not, you know, especially if this is somebody that you have finished with in terms of a love situation. It might be someone that you're not aware how they're feeling around the situation. But this can also be with the Knight of Pentacles, that you receive some sort of, usually the Knight of Pentacles should be an opportunity that you receive. But the Eight of Swords says that what you don't know is that this might leave you feeling a little bit mentally, and it could also be physically trapped. Because the Moon card is about a lack of clarity over the situation. So it might be that you have a certain way that you've already planned, Gemini, that you're going to do something here. But it might be that the kicker is, the surprise is, that something comes in that leaves you a little bit confused and slightly tormented with that Moon card, because maybe it's a case of not being able to move forward in a particular way that you wanted to. I can see that you've envisaged something here. You've already started the ball rolling in a certain way that you're going to do something or achieve something, and it's really, really positive. But I feel that what you don't see is that there is something happening around here that's going to cause some form of an obstacle that might then kind of muddy the waters over what you were expecting or hoping or doing at the moment, and your mental and emotional state. Everything's very, very positive there in the first four sections. And I'm not saying this is not positive. I'm just saying that I feel that it creates a little bit of confusion around what your initial plans were with those cards there. Immediate future shows, and sometimes the immediate future can show something completely different to what's going on. Well, we see for some of you guys, there could be a new relationship coming in the immediate future. Because we have a magician, and the magician usually refers to a new situation. Could be because the magician rules the aces. So often when you've got this card, it's about a powerful start of something here. So we've got something quite powerful that comes in for you guys. It seems to be centered around an individual, King of Cups. And it could be to do with a new opportunity with the Ace of Cups. I'm not reluctant to say love because we've got cup cards here. But I'm reluctant because sometimes these don't mean what you think that they mean. Okay, so it could be, if this does relate to this situation, and if this hidden factor is a particular person who's experiencing this, so it might be somebody who's still faithful to you, who's still there for you. You might want to go on your own journey here. Okay? I'm getting the sense that you guys really want to move forward in your own path. It could be that maybe somebody that you're moving away from doesn't want that, which is why the Knight of Pentacles suggests this person is still around. They might find it difficult to let go with the Eight of Swords, and they might therefore feel with the Moon card really depressed about the situation. It could be that in the immediate future there'll be some major communication with the Magician, with this particular person, King of Cups. Maybe with the Ace of Cups about restarting the relationship. But in the outcome, we see there is doubt over this. Four of Cups. Four of Cups pretty much always represents doubt, whether it's an immediate future or overall outcome, because it suggests that something comes to you that you just don't want. Okay, so it could be that, yeah, if there's communication with this, especially if this is the person here in the hidden factors, that is finding it difficult to cope with the fact that you might want to move away from this situation, from this relationship, but they still want to hold on. So there could be some powerful communication where this person comes in and, you know, wears their heart on their sleeves as the King of Cups. And they're basically showing you how they feel with the Ace of Cups. But the overall outcome might be, well, I'm not really that interested, Four of Cups. Because this relationship lacks any type of depth, especially spiritual depth. And especially for some of you guys, you might be going through a real spiritual enlightenment stage. It might say, you know, I am actually not that interested in restarting anything because we're just not suited. Where I am right now is so different to where you are. And therefore, the Tower, we have a breakdown in the relationship, because the Tower means breakdown, endings. Okay, so for some of you guys, it will be, there has been a relationship, judgment mentally, you're released from that. No, death, you're able to close the door on the past, and the Ace of Pentacles, you're now mentally and emotionally open to new experiences. And this could mean in the personal situation, you're highly inspired to start setting new intentions with that Eight of Wands, start the ball rolling, start moving things along. You're wanting to manifest new experiences, and you are waiting for your ships to come in with that Three of Wands. Okay, so you're waiting for whatever it is that you've been looking to manifest to start up, to start manifesting for you. The 3 is the number of manifestation as well. So in your everyday life, you have set new wheels in motion with the Eight of Wands. You're very, very encouraged, very inspired, and very certain that these things will happen for you. And you're waiting for these things to come in with the Three of Wands. Your hopes are that by being so open, so focused emotionally on what it is that you want to manifest, on what it is that you are looking to bring around now, that you are hoping that, I feel with this new outlook, this new receptivity to life, I feel with the Queen of Cups, that it will help you to release any inward struggles with the Hanged Man, and therefore accomplish new things with the Three of Pentacles, perhaps even meet new people, expand your network of friends, that type of thing. However, what you're expecting with that Two of Swords is that, you know, you might need to be a little bit more rational about the situation, that this situation is something with the Strength card you're going to need to have real force of will and real confidence in, because there might be coming struggles with the Five of Swords. So you're going to need to be quite resilient, quite fortuitous, and quite strong around the situation. You know exactly what you want to do and you're working towards it, but you also I feel recognised for some of you guys. There might be some battles that still need to be fought. And that cannot be fought just by manifesting things through the universe or that type of thing. It's about coming down to earth as well. Not just coming down to earth. I mean, manifestation is very real. But what I'm saying is it's about looking at things in a very rational way as well, especially with people that don't understand the art of manifesting. What you don't expect, it might be that if there is some discord with another, especially with that Five of Swords in your expectations and the Strength card, that this person might be going through some form of depression with the Eight of Swords. And the Moon card, it might be that they are feeling lost, for example, within the situation. It could be in the immediate future that there'll be some powerful communication with the Magician card, in which this person, King of Cups, can be a water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Probably wants to reignite something here with the Ace of Cups, probably wants to show you how much they care, that type of thing. However, the overall outcome shows Four of Cups. I'm not particularly interested. Five of Pentacles, because there really just isn't that much of a foundation within this relationship for us to work off. And therefore, the Tower, it means a dispersal off that. A dispersal off the relationship. A breakup. Like complete severance. Okay. For some of you guys, it will be new love that comes in. Magician and the King of Cups. It could be a powerful man offers love. However, you might not be interested because there might be other things that you're needing to deal with that Five of Pentacles. And so the Tower says, I need this time to cleanse. I need this time to create some differences within my life before I can go for something here. It means a breakup of something. So it might not be something that you go for. All right. So for some of you guys, it might be love. It might be love that comes in when you're just trying to change your life and you're just ready to move forward now with your own perceptions and your own spirituality moving forward in terms of what you've been doing in your life. And then suddenly, you know how it is. You're moving forward with your life and you're getting on, and then suddenly, bam, somebody comes in and said, actually, I like you. And it kind of turns everything on its head. And it's like, actually, you know, I'm not really ready for that now because I'm really just concentrating on me. So for some of you guys, it might be that you're concentrating on who you are as individuals and suddenly love comes in. All right. The unexpected factors, I suppose, around that, it could be that there is something that comes in here, an offer, an opportunity, but it has you mentally confused. And with the Moon card, probably a lack of clarity in kind of making a decision on that, because you've already got things sorted here and how you need to move forward with a particular situation. And as a result of that, it could be that this thing that comes in that will leave you mentally confused. It could be that there is a powerful man, King of Cups, so a powerful man that wants to offer love. However, you're probably undecided, or you're going to need to, what's the word? You're going to need to think about this with the Four of Cups. Because right now you might be going through something that you need to repair with the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles often means to be out in the cold, or it means some form of lack. So you might need to, you might say no here to this offer or something that comes in there. Because right now within your life you need to repair this. And the Tower as well, underneath that Five of Pentacles, I feel that this is almost like there is lack here, but this will disperse. So it's almost like a disperse of some form of, you need to repair something. You're working on repairing yourself. Because we can see it here. But the work is not entirely done. It's not entirely done. And until that's done for some of you guys, it might be that you're not really interested in taking anything else on. Very interested reading, Gemini. Yeah, I'll be coming back with your love readings, guys, okay? So, and it will be based on the 21 card Gypsy Tarot spread. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me on Carol's Universe. And I will see you for your October readings coming up real soon. Take care.